Many times I ask young people in love to say, why him? Why her? And many of the answers I get is, he makes me happy. He makes me laugh. He's a very funny guy. He helps me to have joy. You see, that's Phileo. Because Phileo has its focus on what I get. He fills my gaps. When I'm sad, he knows how to lift me back into joy. That's the love that you see with young people in courtship. It's all based on how she makes me feel. She makes me feel satisfied. A young man came to my office and was telling me, Pastor, I want to reach the family of the sister that he's courting. And I asked him the same question. I said, okay, so why her? He says, Pastor, she understands me. Are you seeing that? That's Phileo. It's all about me, and me, and me. And that is why I'm saying, when Phileo is allowed to go into marriage, you cannot sustain a marriage. Why? Because Phileo is a one-way love. Phileo goes only in one direction. Phileo is all about what it's able to get. So it will do good, but the good it's doing is because of what will come out of it for itself. Are you getting that? And unfortunately, at times, even in marriage, there are husbands and their wives too that will do good to their husband because she knows he's just gotten the gratuity. So she's going to cook him the best meal. And she's going to be all wonderful. Why? Because she knows he's just gotten the gratuity. Because she wants to have a share of the gratuity. She knows without any warm affection, oh God. That's Phileo. And Phileo, unfortunately, is not strong enough to sustain a marriage. No, it's not. And that's the reason why when we study the Bible, we notice when God tells husbands to love their wives, he doesn't use the word Phileo. He uses the word agapao, which is where we get the English word agape. He uses the word agape because God knows that Phileo is good. Phileo is introductory love. And up to this point, what they're experiencing is Phileo. But now, God is bringing them and calling them to a higher kind of love, which is agape. And let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. You notice what I'm sharing with you. Hear the scriptures. He says, husbands, love your wives. And that word love is the word agape. It's not the word Phileo. So God is telling the husband, he says, love your wife. Agape your wife. Not Phileo your wife. Because when Phileo is allowed to rule the marriage, that's where you find one says, I'm packing out because I don't feel loved. Because they never transitioned from Phileo to agape. And those are the times someone walks out of a marriage because he says, I have never experienced love in this marriage. Because Phileo always seeks reciprocal. That's Phileo. It always seeks reciprocal. You are probably here, you've been married 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And you may find your love has these qualities. If these elements are allowed to go on for a very long time, they wreck the marriage. Because Phileo is always reciprocal. It always seeks to be reciprocated. If she buys you a pair of shoes on your birthday, she's expecting on her birthday for you to reciprocate. That's Phileo. Now, that's not bad. That's not bad because, look, God never takes away whatever he gives us. So, Phileo, you're born with it. Yeah. So every one of us has Phileo. But then, when you go into marriage, God expects you to add to your Phileo agape. In other words, in marriage, God expects you to practice the love of friendship. Because right now, what you're experiencing is the love of friendship. And you see, you are friends. That's the reason you are marrying her. Because, you love to spend time with Busiku. She makes you feel complete as a man. She's the definition of everything you need in a woman. That's friendship. And that's good. Why? Because friendship is about mutual affection. And the same with her. You make her feel everything that she sees and wants in a man. Kapembwa fills the gaps. That's Phileo, and that's beautiful. But when now, today, as you move into the next phase of your life, this chapter of marriage, God expects you now to build on Phileo agape. Agape now has to become foundational. Phileo must be supporting agape. In other words, you don't lose the friendship. Why? Because there are marriages that are only living on agape, and those also are marriages about to be broken and to wreak havoc. Why? Because agape is the unconditional love. Agape is the love of commitment. Have you ever heard someone say, I'm staying in this marriage just for the children? Who has ever heard that? That's agape. That's agape. You see? In other words, I'm not in this for myself anymore. I'm in this just because of the children. Otherwise, I would have left a long time ago. That's agape. And that's why God in marriage, He requires you to have both. The friendship should continue.